Morning and thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of TVC Breakfast. I am Veronica Dan Ikboy. I'm not here alone. I have Mike Okwache in the studio. Mike, it's good to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back home. It's really amazing. I've been watching what all of you have been doing on air. It's really fantastic, really
Absolutely.
nice.
And it was an interesting conversation you had with former governor.
Oh yes. He had his opinion around national issues and so on.
You know. A typical weekend.
Oh, exactly. What would you expect? No dull moments with him any day.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Now let's touch on issues. This matter of fuel subsidy will not go away anytime soon, talking about reactions to it. And this time around, a reaction is claimed to be coming outside of the country. There's a viral video that went viral, and where it is reported that these persons were Cameroonian motorcyclists, and they were staging a peaceful protest. They were speaking in Fufude, as it is being reported, and that they were saying, you know, why did the president remove fuel subsidy, talking about how it's affecting them and all of it. And yes, they were saying they were protesting in solidarity with a cross-section of Nigerians who are not happy with the removal of the fuel subsidy. But these are the issues. These are the things we've always said, that we have been subsidizing, you know, countries outside of Nigeria to the extent that NNPC even claimed that the smuggling got to the extent that about 20 million liters were smuggled outside of the country every day.
Yeah, and the challenge, or the reason Nigerians were not happy was because they knew this. What were they doing about it? They knew this, of course. The issue of smuggling has been on for the last 10 years. In fact, more than that. It's just that it's the magnitude of it, or the amount of, or the frequency of it that changed. Now, the smuggled fuel from Nigeria, in fact, when you hear NNPC, those days say that Nigeria consumed between 50 to 60 million liters a day. It was the fuel going to Cameroon, Benin Republic, Niger, Chad, Togo,
Sudan.
Even down to Sudan. The Nigerian fuel was across all of those countries. And in fact, the report had it that Nigerian fuel in Cameroon was better than the fuel they had by themselves. So people were not going to the filling station to buy fuel anymore. They were hunting for Nigerian fuel. And then there were warehouses where they put Nigerian fuel in jerry cans.
Yes.
So people go there.
It had a particular name, Zoa.
Yes. So people go there to prefer because it's cheaper.
Yes.
So that was what Nigeria was doing to all of these countries around. So this directive by the president to remove fuel subsidy, it was a masterstroke on one hand. It dealt a very serious blow to the business and so on. In 2019, thereabout, when there was a partial closure of Nigerian borders, we saw how the volume of consumption of fuel dropped. And it told you that, okay, something is wrong here. Nigerians cannot be consuming that amount of volume of fuel per day. So we saw how the volume dropped according to reports from NNPC, DPR, and the customs. So the point there is, it tells you that smuggling, we're just servicing our neighbors. But with the price now, water has found its level.
Right.
And everything, has taken care of, the business is taking care of itself. In fact, comparatively, when it comes to pricing, it will be more expensive to buy fuel from Nigeria now.
We had an IPMAN representative recently, and he said that when you look at the pricing, it will be difficult for one to say, okay, you want to smuggle.
In fact, rather go and buy there and come and sell in Nigeria. That's what
because the differentials, it's a lot.
Yeah, of course.
So they count the cost and would think about, okay, if I smuggle outside the country, how much am I going to make? It's not as attractive as it used to be anymore.
They will make a loss, not even how much you're going to make a loss. Because the point there is, when you buy the fuel, transportation is another thing. And the cost of transport, which is the legal, you're driving, so it's going to cost you all of the tariffs and charges. But the settlement, which is even not the legal one, is another thing altogether. So you're going to run at a loss. So the point there is, it is not profitable to buy fuel from Nigeria and take to any country anymore. And that is one thing that directive from the president has taken care of.
Right.
So with this now, it tells you that we'll be having adequate fuel in relative terms,
Yes.
because all the fuel that is being imported into this country, we were not the ones consuming it. But now that we are going to be the ones consuming it, there won't be scarcity anymore. Some of these things are taking care of themselves.
Absolutely.
So it tells you what policy of government can do. You know,
yes.
so it is the foresight that is needed. The moment you see it, you understand the system, you come up with a policy, stand by it, you see how everything will take care of itself.
Absolutely, and Nigerians are beginning to gradually see with this reaction that the direction things are going, and
But
hopefully...
you take time for people to adjust to the...
Yeah, no, of course, no, that's the reality. A lot of persons, it's taking a lot of time to adjust to the realities, and governments across the country have been looking at how to cushion the effects. We have seen Kwara State government, we've seen Edo State, and we are seeing some other states coming up to look at how to ensure that they cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy in the country, which is a good thing. The president met with some of the governors yesterday. We do not fully have the information on the outcome of that meeting, but I believe that fuel subsidy is part of it, and the federal government wants to see how they can work hands in glove with the state to ensure they cushion the effect for Nigerians.